Ooh, we're live.
Oh, Noodle.
Oh, Noodle, we're live.
How are we, everybody?
How we doing?
Michael, do you want to introduce us? Are we currently even
I am.
to the people?
Okay, it looks like it's starting up. Yep, there it goes. Okay. Hello, folks. Welcome to the BoxMac live stream Q&A session. My name is Michael Abood. I am the moderator of the Red Cow Entertainment subreddit. I will be moderating the discussion today, pretending we're highfalutin here on NPR or something.
Hi, everybody. It's me, Frankie Frayne, joined by Jonathan Hunt
Hello.
and the wonderful Nina Shaleski.
We have Aria Nina today. Aria Nina.
Here's what happened, just in case anybody's curious. You know, we're doing this for, normally we up the production value a little bit. We run some DSLR cameras, that kind of thing. This live stream stuff's new to us. We're using this laptop camera. And John, because of his copious size, can't lean forward. And so he just has to.
I look like this.
He just has to sit there, and then there's no room in the frame for Nina, so she has to sprawl across.
That's why we have Aria Nina, and I think it's wonderful.
like a kitty.
Yes, it's wonderful.
So we've got Michael. Thanks for setting this up, Michael. For anybody who doesn't know, also sent us the Texas HB Max, and
the Texas box.
And his Reddit name on our subreddit is some string of numbers and letters.
Ah,
it's like a hash. So the folks have questions, do they not?
There we are. I just saw it.
Yes.
Yes, they do. So I guess first off, we're going to start with the questions that were posted to the subreddit. Let's get that up here. All right. So the first question that we received is, what is the GOAM? This is from Jack, and that is an acronym for Greatest of All Macs.
Greatest of all Macs.
And if it was really an acronym, it would be pronounced. So GOAM.
GOAM. The GOAM.
What is the GOAM?
You know, my out of the noodle answer is the 3 cheese, of course. But I'm starting to think that the greatest of all Macs may actually be, with the reformulation, the Kraft 4 cheese deluxe.
Right.
I think that might be, in my mind, the greatest of all Macs.
In my opinion.
Yeah.
There may have been an upset last weekend.
Yeah, well, these people don't know about that yet, though.
Folks, we shoot show. I don't know if you know this. We shoot shows, normally condensed. Like we would get together for a day, shoot 4 of them in a row, and then I have to edit them across a couple of weeks so that I can kind of release them for you week to week. And so, there's a bunch of BoxMac episodes that already exist that you haven't seen yet.
That's right.
If that titillates.
Woo.
There's an upcoming show, and this is exclusive for you people that tune into the live stream.
Yeah.
There's a show coming up called Max I Need to Bring to Frankie's Attention.
That's right. Max I Need to Bring to Frankie's Attention.
And in there was a frozen Mac, that I thought rivaled Stouffer's.
Oh, that was a really good Mac.
It was called Bob Evans.
Bob Evans. Yeah.
Which is, he's from Ohio. I've never heard of the brand.
No, I hadn't before either. Apparently it's a big chain.
Well, yeah, Bob Evans is a restaurant chain that operates in Ohio and I assume most of the Midwest, and they sell frozen entrees outside of their restaurant area.
Let me tell you, this stuff was crap.
It was really good. It was a little too salty for me, though.
For John.
That's pretty salty.
The other sort of honorable mention goals, ones that might like if I
guaranteed value has become a staple in this house now.
Yeah.
I never had the Stop and Shop guaranteed value Mac, and then I had it, and some days, depending on my mood, it beats Velveeta for me. Velveeta was always my favorite. I'm a sauce cheese packet kind of guy. You're a little bit more traditional box.
Well, but I'm starting to change over. But you've said that the pasta quality in that is not where you like it to be. You've become more educated about the quality of pasta through BoxMac.
And there's they now sell the Velveeta packs for $1.
That's right.
At Dollar Tree. So you can use the Velveeta sauce on any pasta.
Any fine pasta you want.
And you can learn more about that on the Blu-ray exclusive episode in which we retake the Loretta brand to disastrous results. And it's a very...
You're giving away the details! Don't give it away!
It's maybe one of our best episodes yet, and it's not going to be on the internet.
Oh, geez.
Which actually reminds me, I'm sure if you're tuning into this, you're one of our alpha fans. So most likely you participated in the Kickstarter in some capacity.
We like to hope.
And hey guys,
Look at that, the Blu-ray. It's right there with great art.
The disc art was by Josh James, who also did the crayon noodles,
which hangs in Frankie's kitchen. I can see it from here.
Yeah, I'm gesturing to my kitchen like you know where it is. And then the case art, which you'll hopefully be able to see very soon, was done by a super fan, Chris LaRue.
Sure.
These are people that love us cooking BoxMac so much that they don't charge us.
Yes, you're absolutely right. But Frankie, I feel like we're being a little like a politician. And we asked a question, and then we started talking about our policies.
All right, fine. All right, back on track.
Back on track.
The Gome, I don't know.
Yeah. You is it Bob's?
If it was a Sunday.
If it was a Sunday.
And Nina said,
And
Nina said, no, wait, let's do this over.
All right.
It's my birthday.
Oh.
And Nina says, I want to get you some mac and cheese, but you pick the mac, Frankie.
Yeah.
Now that's good criteria.
Yeah, I like it.
As long as it's fresh and hot,
Mm-hmm.
It's got to be fresh.
Fresh and hot.
Cisco Food Service mac and cheese from Lee's Supermarket down the street.
Really?
Might be my favorite.
All right.
And I think the reason is because they put a little sour cream in it.
Okay. We'll have to try that sometime.
All right.
All right.
So
we should.
Did John answer the question?
I did. I answered it concisely and quickly.
All right. Now, we've got a bunch more. So
Sure.
on to
Let's have another question.
What are they saying over there in that chat? Oh, they're liking the Blu-ray, aren't they?
Oh yeah.
Bob Evans is down in Florida too, says Andrew Allen.
Yeah. Let me tell you, it's slightly disconcerting to watch myself on a 3-second delay. I haven't even started moving my hands yet. You people will know what I'm talking about in a minute.
No, people are actually here. Okay.
We can talk the delay if you like.
Okay.
All right. So the next question also comes from Jack. He wants to know what inspired the BoxMac series.
Why don't you take that one, Frank?
I didn't even. All right. Well, I'll take a different angle on the
You
response.
can talk about the earliest
Yes.
record of it.
Yes. Yeah. We record a podcast called How Are We? Or we did for a very long time. We used to release a weekly audio podcast that nobody listened to.
That's right. You got like how many listens a week?
10. None. Almost none. Now that we have this big constituency of fans, 1,000 plus.
Sure.
Maybe some of them would tune in. We have posted How Always since BoxMac opened, and some people watch it. The point is this: when we started audio podcasts, it was a departure from what we had been doing for the past 15 years, which was making feature films, the occasional animation and short film.
Planned content.
So suddenly we were doing things that were a little bit more disposable and quick turnover, and I wanted to also expand, kind of our network. I wanted to
there was actually some efforts. I remember with the project, the whole Vibes project was actually kind of that kind of idea, trying to expand us into a content network. Early iteration.
I wanted to see if I could maybe produce other people's films as opposed to just direct my own, and I realized I can't.
Yeah.
Because the ways that we produce things on a low budget really kind of require our ways of doing things, I guess.
That's right.
So anyway, we were doing this audio podcast, and John said, I'd like to do a little web series. I'll take it off your hands. I'll shoot and edit them. We go to dinner with each other on every Sunday.
Yep.
And he said we could shoot it before we go out on Sundays, or we could replace this for Sundays. And he goes, the idea, and I'm going to post it one of these days. It's a 10-minute audio clip. John goes, it's this little series, and this was in 2012. So this is 3 years before BoxMac became a reality.
Yeah.
He goes, it's called BoxMac. I'll dress like a chef, and we'll try every BoxMac. And I completely don't remember. I mean, I remember him mentioning it, but I couldn't believe it when I uncovered that the other day. How accurate it ended up being to the final product.
Wow.
And we go on and on about it for 15 minutes.
Really?
And you said, of course, you were like, I'll shoot them, I'll edit them. It could be done on iPhones. You were really like,
I've been periodically said for years, I would like to see you guys do this. I would say, I'd like you guys to do that.
That's true. You had been encouraging through the interim.
But my only reservation was that sounds like a lot of work.
Yeah.
Yeah,
and it did end up being a lot of work.
Yeah.
All I have to do is stand there. Frank is the one who does all the editing and managing the content and doing all that stuff.
And the outreach. I mean, how often? John hangs out around the.
I go on the Reddit. I'll respond. I pop on usually once a day.
Yeah. And then of course, I think what actually made us move forward and shoot an episode was EJ Massa, who hopefully you guys all know who that is by now. He's guest starred in a couple of episodes.
Yeah.
He was our cinematographer.
Part of the Red Cow Network.
Big part of what we do. He was the one, he is kind of a camera file.
Mm-hmm.
And he was like, I got all these cameras, and I just bought. We were shooting a documentary. We still are shooting this documentary about the high cost of weddings.
Yeah.
And he said, you know, what might be fun is if I just popped over and we shot one of those BoxMacs. And we shot it. And I remember being like, so John, you're gonna edit this? And you were like, yeah, sure, I'll edit it. And I thought about it, and I said, John, the problem with John is he doesn't really know why he is funny.
That's probably right.
And you have to bring that out in the edit. You would agree that.
Yes, I think if I look at those like ones that you've edited, and I wouldn't have edited them that way, but they come out much better for it.
Because I'm editorializing you.
Yes.
So we did one.
Yeah.
And we were amused.
Yeah.
But we were actually surprised by how many of our friends were demanding.
They were really liking it.
They were demanding a second episode. And by that point, we had produced maybe 3 or 4 John's cards.
Yeah.
Which I liked better because it was with an iPhone camera.
Yeah, it's easier to edit too.
And but then we shot another 3 a couple months later.
Yep.
Started releasing things in a kind of weekly way. And then when it did get its big bump, we decided we really ought to try to release these once a week. And the Reddit bump happened after the Halloween show. So we were kind of like all in on this, even before anybody was watching.
I remember we were kind of really talking about, we were a little disappointed with how many people were seeing them on a weekly basis. Around the time of the Halloween show, we feel like we're producing a lot of content that wasn't really getting any traction.
To the point of like almost stopping.
Yeah.
And that's when some blessed soul posted us on Reddit. Yeah. That was really cool. Yeah. So I think that answers it, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's pretty well gets it. Okay, so moving on to another user. Next question we got was, if you were to make pasta figures of yourself of each of the BoxMac crew, like Fusilli Jerry on Seinfeld, what noodles would you choose and why? And that comes from Ugly Bob out of Canada.
So,
hello, Ugly Bob.
Frankie didn't know what to make of this question. I don't think you know the reference to what the Fusilli Jerry is, right?
No.
You're not really a Seinfeld guy.
No, I'm not Jewish.
It doesn't make any sense. No, but basically, I mean, in one of the episodes, he makes Jerry out of fusilli, and like if you Google it, you can see a picture, but it's not important. The idea is, if you were being made out of pasta, like a child was gluing you together, what pastas would you be?
Right.
And the pastas I would be a big shell in the middle.
Yeah.
I would have a big shell, and then wheels, a wheel for the head, and wheels for the legs, all the way down.
So just round.
Round. That's the way it would go.
And what about me?
What about you? So I have to pick for you because you're not.
I couldn't even name any of like linguine. I can name all of the Olive Garden pastas.
Yeah, I think you would have a shell for the head. A shell head face. You have that shell face.
Oh, and penne limbs.
Yes, penne limbs. Ziti limbs.
Oh.
Because they're
white or whole wheat? White.
Oh, white for sure. Look at you. And then for the middle, I don't know, maybe a manicotti. A nice big tube pasta.
Oh, I love manicotti.
Oh, it's so good.
That
It's a
would be
good noodle. Good noodle.
She loves me. And for Nina?
Oh, I think Nina.
One string of linguine.
No. There's a type of it's I forget the name. It's like buccetti. It's like a spaghetti, but it's thicker and has a little hole in the middle.
Stephen Buccetti.
When I see Nina in her slender form, that is the pasta that is evoked.
Hey, wait a minute. It's because of the BoxMac shirt. I can get a real hourglass thing going. I can cinch this shit in.
Yeah.
I think I would like to be a nice bow tie middle.
Bow tie middle. Okay.
Turned sideways.
Okay. I can. Yeah. That works really well too.
And then maybe I can get like some good like angel hair.
Angel hair. Angel hair is one of my least favorite pastas. Telling you, that's it's not a favorite of mine.
Well, I'm not a favorite co-host on BoxMac.
Yeah, you are.
This is
your hits have some of the. Well, yes, I'm the mainstay, but your episodes have some of the highest hits.
That's true.
Probably because of the girl factor.
That's right.
And also she comes on for the special interest max.
That's true. Special interest max. That's right. All right.
That's the answer.
Okay. Next question we have is another two-parter. Comes from Purple Couch. First question is, which noodle style is your favorite noodle style, both for BoxMac and any other pasta dishes, if that differs?
Okay.
Is it just straight up shells for them?
Well, certainly shells for macaroni and cheese.
Certainly shells.
Certainly shells.
Certainly shells.
Certainly shells. No, but for general pasta, I'm not gonna. I mean, it depends a lot on the dish. Actually, it depends a lot on what the sauce is. If I was gonna make a macaroni and cheese, and I wanted something a little bit different, I think what I would go for is maybe a radiatore. which is a kind of a curly pasta with lots of little ridges, so you can really get the cheese in there. Isn't that a great pasta?
Yeah, that's a great one.
I've always been a big fan of Wheels. Like I said earlier, they do have a problem where they tend to fall apart when you cook them, though.
What's the? I'm not gonna be able to pronounce it correctly. Is it the capitave? The one.
Oh, that's a great one too. You know, another one I love is I can't think of the name of it. It's shaped like a flower. It's like florete or something like that. And actually, I love the one that we used on the home style mac. Snail shell one.
Okay.
Yeah.
I had never heard of the snail. The snail style is kind of like if a shell was being crapped out of a sphincter and it pinched off at the end.
Yes, that's what it kind of creates a little funnel of cheese.
I thought it was a wonderful marriage of the elbow and the shell.
Yes, I agree. I thought that was.
Combination.
Pastas are such a wonderful and varied thing, and the shape really does matter. So, you know, I'm all about that.
Somebody said Frankie lost in noodles. I like Court Patterson says Junt's card is pretty dope.
Pretty dope.
Pretty dope.
Oh, dope.
But there was something else in here that really cracked me up. I see EJ and Emily are on the stream.
Cool.
Which is nice. But and somebody had suggested angel hair for Nina. I guess it was obvious.
Yeah.
She's
an angel.
There are questions. Has John or the group considered reviewing any other foodstuffs? We're going to get to that. Why don't we?
Yeah,
we'll let Michael answer all of his questions. But
yeah.
We'd like to get your feedback on some ideas.
Yeah, we got some ideas. So, but let's go on to the next question for now. That's upcoming on BoxMac Live.
That's later on BoxMac.
Later on BoxMac Live. All right.
Okay. Next question comes again from Purple Couch. This one y'all kind of answered earlier, but it was BoxMac the original concept, or was there another idea, or an idea that just didn't work as well?
The idea was BoxMac.
Yeah, it was quite plainly BoxMac, because I've always loved macaroni and cheese, so there was no failed iterations.
And Frankie got made fun of in high school for loving that BoxMac macaroni
Did
and
you?
cheese so much.
This is accurate. There were look.
He got stereotyped.
I used to be teased for loving Trauma, which is a film company, Nina, and mac and cheese. I think they thought that I was kind of a very simple man, and they wanted to tease me for that.
Yeah.
I am a simple man.
True.
You got narrowed down to 3.
But you and I mean, we've known each other since I was 14, since you were 19.
That's right.
And the meal of the weekend was mac.
That's right. We used to cook big pots. I think we brought this up before, but
yeah,
big pots in my giant steel pot, 6B people.
For 2 people?
No, there was more than that. We had more people around then. There was like Will, and
we had
others,
we had
the rest.
The unnamed, and the rest here in Gilligan's.
We had other people of size.
Sure. Like we're a class of people.
Well, that is a PC term now. People of size. You ever heard that? You're a person of size.
I know. More.
You know why I don't?
Are you a person of size?
I think so at this point. Yeah. The reason I don't like person of size is because it makes it seem like you were born that way and you're screwed. Like if you're just fat,
yeah,
you can lose weight at some point. But if you're a person of size,
it's ingrained in who you are. All right.
Next question.
Okay, so next set of questions comes from the user O Noodle, and we've got 5 questions off this.
This guy's all over it.
5 questions from Mr. or Mrs. O Noodle.
The famous Irish O Noodle.
Yes.
Question number 1. May we hear the full story about the giant shells and cheese fiasco?
Ah, yes.
My guess is that John barely remembers it.
I don't. No, I remember some select details, okay? My memory is not the greatest. And I think a study just came out that shows people who are fat have worse event memory.
Really?
Google this. It's real. But anyway.
Get that finger out of my face.
Anyway, I remember the following details of this story, okay? Number 1, I remember going to Lee's supermarket and buying the gigantic shells.
I'm not even convinced it was Lee's.
I'm pretty sure it
Now,
was.
these are the shells that are to be used for stuffing
Stuffing shells. They're the biggest grade of the shells that Prince pastas. It was Prince shells. I remember that.
Okay.
Number 2.
Not to be eaten all.
No. Number 2, I overboiled them slightly. So they started to fall apart. Those are the details.
Do you remember the sauce?
No, I don't remember what we did.
Some people have no idea what we're talking about.
Okay, start from the very beginning. It's a very good place to start.
Yeah, when you
read, you begin with ABCs. When you sing, you begin with 1, 2, 3. But go on.
Do re mi, John.
Do re mi.
But, The year is 2002. John Hunt says, you know what I like? Giant shells.
I do.
I like big, meaty, beefy pasta. And he says, what we're going to do this weekend, Frankie, and chances are it was one of those weekends where we were making films. We've been doing this stuff for a long time, folks. We've been dancing in the dark until you showed up.
Dancing in the dark.
He said, I'd like to buy the jumbo shells, and I'd like to get my own cheese sauce. I mean, I guess it was sort of a proto BoxMac.
In a way, except I was performing for just you guys.
Yeah, right. But you guys, I think it was just me, literally just me.
Was it?
I remember it just being us.
Okay.
And
not even a Nina. Nina wasn't around much at that time.
Nina is a child of divorce and was away on weekends almost every weekend.
That's right.
That's why you became sort of my de facto girlfriend on the weekends.
That's right. Sort of. Mostly.
So that, and I was not of driving age.
That's right.
And you were.
Yeah.
And so you'd cart our ass all around, and we'd have to watch you shop.
That's right. Whoa! All of the shows have Genesis in this time.
That's why Jen's cart started, was because we had some friends around, and we were like, "You should watch John shop.
You should watch John throw shopping carriages into other."
That's right, because that was a long-running gag. But we're getting off topic.
Look, tangents are
topic to topic.
Anyway, you bought some kind of probably ragu cheese sauce, and we had it, and we were disappointed.
Yeah, because that cheese sauce actually sucks.
But also, the shells didn't cook right. They didn't integrate well with the cheese. And would I call it a fiasco? No, but we haven't tried it since.
Did you eat it anyway?
I
ate some, I'm sure.
I don't think we got very far through it.
The ragu cheese sauce is really not very good at all. I don't recommend it, but maybe we should revive it and see if we could do something like that. I still think a macaroni and cheese stuffed shell, like stuffed with macaroni and cheese, then put in a baking dish with cheese on top and baked, would be a wonderful recipe.
We'll have to see. The Cheetos were a total failure.
Yeah, I know. But you don't need to bring that up in front of our thousands.
Nina used to make me mac all the time, too.
You still?
Even when you weren't present.
Actually, Frankie makes the mac now.
As of BoxMac, I make the mac.
Whoa!
She's a vegan. I mean, to ask her to cook anything that involves cheese or meat is kind of a little bit of a violation. I mean, she'll do it. She'll cook with cheese, but she won't cook with meat.
Sure, understandable. But anyway, we should probably get
next question.
There was 5.
All right, next question is from Old Noodle as well. What is the best deal Junt's Cart has ever seen?
Well, it had to be the Sears.
The Sears thing, yeah. So, I mean, if you didn't see the episode, I recommend you go check it out because it's a lot of fun. But at the end, when I went to cash out, it turned out my whole purchase was free.
For your Black Friday.
Yeah, for my Black Friday show. Because over the years, I had gone to Sears Auto and built up all these credits that enabled my purchase to be completely free.
That you had no idea.
I had no idea walking into the store. And that it really speaks to the success of Sears My Way program, or I think it's called My Way. But that was definitely the best deal I've ever gotten on a Junt's Cart. In real life, I've gotten some pretty good deals on things. Let me relate to you a little story. Building 19, which probably these people don't know anything about, it's a super discount retailer. And they used to have this fun promo thing that if you could beat their price, they would give you a bottle of champagne.
I remember that.
Nina, I have 3 of those bottles of champagne.
Are you serious?
I beat Building 19's prices 3 times. And it doesn't mean anything to anyone anymore because the store's
this is
gone.
very meaningful to me. Though.
But I have 3 bottles of Chateau de Chipot for beating Building 19's. And I got them all before I was 21 too. So they're all non-alcoholic. But those were some great deals.
You know, anybody who's committed to trying to beat Building 19's prices is probably in their 50s or 60s.
Oh, let me tell you.
You were under 21.
I was under 21. My mother was the first one. My mother drove me there.
When we meet you,
and then she refused. After
yeah, she's enough. He's got a problem. When we met you, you were for a guy who was 20. As far as I was concerned, you were a 40-year-old woman.
Sure. I still get called old lady John.
Yeah, old lady John. So is that the best deal?
They weren't individual deals. I mean, they like one of them was a case of paper that I beat them 45 cents on, and it wasn't like they weren't individually. But some of the best deals I've ever gotten had been from Building 19. I really miss Building 19. It was one of my favorite stores.
And the closest thing to a replacement is Big Lots or
is Job Lot, but if you've seen the Job Lot Junt's Cart. Building 19 was like 4 steps down from there. And I remember once.
It was basically a flea market.
Yeah.
Like run.
I remember
as a
once
corporation.
they had a store in Swansea, and what they did was they bought in. They must have gotten like this salvage computer equipment, and they just had bins filled with salvage printers and salvage computer equipment, big pieces, big monitors, and any piece was $5. And I bought a piece, and I took out. I needed to repair a printer, a laser printer I had, and I took out a $200 piece out of this $5 printer and put it in to my printer to fix it. That was one of the best deals I've ever gotten from them. I've gotten some great deals on TVs, on so much stuff over the years.
Michael, you have somebody Stone Age history who needs to leave soon, and they want their question answered. Do you know what? Can we skip to them real quick?
We'll be back to you, Mr. Norton.
Yes,
Mrs.
we can.
Sir Norton.
I believe that is.
How long have Frankie and Nina been?
Well, you can take that one.
Okay.
We were.
All right. So here are the questions from Primal Musk. He's another user on the subreddit. Actually, he's a moderator as well.
Oh, okay.
So his first question is, what is your favorite restaurant Mac?
Favorite restaurant Mac would be. It was at one time Boston Market. It was at another time Old Country Buffet.
I'm gonna have to say here, I've got two, but they're both local restaurants. I don't know if that really applies.
Same with me. My favorite right now is the Buffalo Mac from the Tap House in Fall River.
Yeah, that's Frankie's favorite. I've had that. I'm not as much of a fan as he is. My two are. I have two of them. One is Wally's Tap House in Tiverton, Rhode Island, has a Buffalo Mac that I'm a real big fan of. And the other, which I think we both like quite a bit, is the Charisse Mac at Barrett's Ale House in Fall River, Massachusetts.
And for those not familiar, Charisse is a Portuguese cured meat.
Yes, it's not to be confused with chorizo.
The Spanish equivalent.
Yeah, but it's actually spiced differently, and it's a different product.
And for add-on Macs, some people like to ask about add-on Macs. It's
good.
Probably one of the most excellent because
what
it has.
you're really looking for is more fat and oil.
Oh, Nina's piping in from the rail.
Get off the couch! But why is it so good? Because it has a little bit of spice to it, and not much.
Usually, whenever I have the Christmas parties, that's what I make. I'll make, like this year, I made a Charisse Mac. Remember?
It's kind of like hot dogs on crack.
That's right. Does he have any more questions for us?
He does. Next question is, what are your thoughts on tuna Mac, chili Mac, and other Mac mixes?
Relevant. Well, I've never had tuna Mac. It sounds disgusting.
Oh, it's awful. I don't like canned tuna. I think it's a lousy product. I would be happy to put a hot dog in my Mac though. Chili Mac, I've had a few and they're okay.
But
I've
you
never
start
had
to
it.
get into that territory where you're mixing tomato sauce with mac and cheese.
Yeah.
I don't really like tomato.
And yeah, that doesn't really. But chili you can kind of you don't really get. You can have a really strong cheese in it. Definitely hot dogs or I've mixed in vegetables before. Broccoli is good in macaroni and cheese. Oh, look, Frankie's making a face.
I don't think I'd like that, but we would always have the hot dogs.
Hot dogs were a big thing.
But I think I prefer Charisse most of all. Chili, like why would I put? Do I want to actually put the whole soup in there, or what am I doing? Or am I just taking like bits of chili?
Yeah,
From what I've seen, chili Mac is generally you add in chili sort of as a sauce. You want it to be mainly Mac, but you want you want to mix the cheese sauce with chili, so you have a little bit of the beef with the Mac, and also tuna Mac. From what I've seen as well, is generally a casserole, served casserole style.
See, any macaroni and cheese that's been baked, I'm getting more and more convinced that it's not a great presentation.
And you should all be convinced too.
Unless you're going to brown the top, which we should look into that. But anyway,
I don't want any add-ons that are going to clash with the cheese flavoring.
That's right.
I want whatever add-on to be overwhelmed by the cheese sauce.
Let me tell you one thing that I have tried recently that I really liked. So Barber makes this product called a Kiev, a chicken Kiev. It's a frozen chicken Kiev. Has a butter garlic sauce in the middle, and then it's a chicken breast around that that's kind of wrapped in a breading. I've had that served over Mac, and it is wonderful. It pairs really well with it over the 4-cheese Mac because the garlic butter will dribble onto the macaroni and cheese. Then you kind of get a garlic mac and cheese. Just isn't kind of explored a lot unless you're getting into the Alfredos. So something to try if you're feeling adventurous. Oh.
Noodle.
All right, we got a couple more questions from Primal Musk. Next one is, are there any new Gents carts in the works?
Yes, there are.
We just shot 2. We just literally came back from shooting 2. We did one at Christmas tree shops, which maybe some of you know, And we got kicked out halfway through.
We did.
But that doesn't mean you're going to get gypped on the content because we shot for a while.
Yeah, they wouldn't call them unreasonable. It's not like Dollar Tree where they got us before we walked in the door.
A guy came up to us and said, "Can we help you?" And we said no. And he said, "Are you filming?" And I said, "Sometimes."
Yeah.
And he said, "You can't without corporate co-op." And look, we've been making movies long enough that we have been kicked out of. We've had cops show up to things.
That's right.
We've gotten in trouble shooting a lot of things in the past, so it doesn't faze me. But I think next time that happens, if he asks, "Are you shooting?" my answer is going to be no.
Yeah.
I'm just gonna, even if it's flagrant, I'm just going to say no.
We were 3/4 of the way through the store, and there's certainly plenty of content.
And then
you won't even notice in the episode.
And then we moved on to Ann and Hope, Dead and something.
A curtain and bath outlet.
Curtain and bath outlet. And you're going to see John talk about a bygone era of retail. So I'll save that for you, but it's mostly expensive curtains and drapes and bathrooms.
I'm going to do some more too, aren't we? I mean,
we wanted to do JCPenney today. We ran out of time because we needed to get the live stream.
Yeah.
But he hates JCPenney, so we want to do that. What else? We want to do IKEA at some point.
Absolutely. I want to do the big home stores. Lowe's. I love Lowe's. I go to Lowe's pretty often.
We've got a pretty incredible flea market in the area called the Raynham Flea Market, which I adore, and I think we need to do that.
We definitely got stuff coming up. Now that we're getting into spring, where you can kind of enjoy the outside, enjoy shopping a little more. We're all.
Someone wanted to see us do jumble sales, which apparently is like an indoor church sale.
Okay.
But I mean, I don't know if I know any around here.
Hey, if you got any ideas where there's jumble sales around here, I'll go to one. Why not?
Okay. Next question from Primal Musk is: did you guys decide on whether or not you're going to produce the video about John's SNES collection?
Yeah.
So for those that don't know, John has a pretty massive SNES collection, Super Nintendo that is. Not just games, but also weird peripheral devices that were limited run.
Sure. Let me tell you a little bit about the origin of the collection. So I'm just ahead of where trends are. And I say that honestly. I've been at the cusp of lots of trends. I don't know if you remember, Frankie, but I had a GPS system in my car way before anybody had GPSs in my car. That's stupid. I had a laptop with a transceiver. But I knew that Super Nintendos were going to become a bigger thing, and I was seeing lots of stuff go by on eBay, and this was like 2000, 2001, that was really going for too cheap prices. And I ended up getting lots of stuff. I have lots of very rare things.
For those who don't know, retro game collecting has the value of this stuff has gone way up.
Yeah, I was shocked today. We went to a nice little game shop, and a copy of Super Mario World, which I used to value at a couple bucks, was now selling for $25. And I must have 35 copies of that game. To give you an idea there are about 800 released cartridges in the U.S. A little bit less than that, and I have about 80% of every cartridge. 80% of the cartridge of one of each cartridge.
Wow.
I'm missing about 20%, and most of the 20% is the lowest 20%, which are the bad sports games.
He's got some crazy stuff. He's got like rare arcade chips.
Yeah, I've got the SNES arcade board. I've got 3 real Super Nintendo development units, including including 2 from Squaresoft. One of which was used to translate Final Fantasy VI to Final Fantasy III in the U.S.
You've got a rare modem for the SNES.
That's right.
Play online.
Yep. I've got one of the rarest. I think it's one of about 50. It's a real M16A1 that's been modified for the U.S. military. It has an SNES controller connector. It was to train, I think, Army personnel how to shoot accurately, and they use a Super Nintendo with a custom cartridge. I have the cartridge and one of the guns. That was actually kind of expensive, even then.
So to answer your question, are we going to do it? The problem, and I'd like to get to this a little bit later too, but the problem with where we are right now is we all have full-time jobs, and producing a BoxMac a week and still trying to do other projects, we're reaching critical capacity.
Yeah, and there's only so much time.
I mean,
especially Frankie.
My marriage with Nina is failing. We have to sit quietly while I edit. I edit the whole bus ride home from my job. It's a lot of work. I mean, hopefully you appreciate the production value and the nice editing and all that, but it takes a lot of work. EJ, of course, is an editor. And when he produces content, it really helps. You can see like his EJ reviews and stuff. If we were going to do we'd have to schedule it. We haven't scheduled anything. I would definitely like to do it. I would like to find a game, like a retro game shop. I'd like to develop a relationship with one so that we can have a really nice backdrop, maybe kind of co-sponsor with them, and just get in for one day with a bunch of your crap.
Yeah.
And shoot 10.
Yeah.
And if they were all under 5 minutes, and you guys could stand watching something that wasn't cooking mac and cheese, or if you would respond to that in any way, I'd love to do them, especially if EJ is the one editing them.
Yeah.
that would be
so.
awesome.
The answer is maybe.
I would even lean towards probably.
Okay.
But there's nothing currently scheduled.
Yeah. Nothing firm.
Yeah.
Like a properly cooked mac.
All right, and the final thing that we have from Primal Musk is just a thank you that goes out to everybody on the BoxMac crew for all the entertainment that you provide. And I think this comes not only from Primal Musk, but just from everybody who watches your content.
Oh, well, thank you very much. That's a very nice thing to say, and we certainly enjoy creating it, and glad you guys love it.
We've like I said, we've been doing this without anybody watching for a very long time. So
That's right.
This is a nice change of pace. Primal Moth did have a question in the chat, which was how long have Nina and I been together? The answer was we started dating November 23rd, 2000. So we were freshmen in high school, and because we're 30 now, and we got married November 23rd, 2009.
There you go.
So back to O-Noodle's
Back to
questions.
Mr. or Miss O-Noodle. Could be Mrs.
It's obviously Mr.
Could be Grand Sir Noodle.
We don't have any female viewers that are that engaged.
Oh, Noodle Esquire?
O-Noodle ESQ. Dr. O-Noodle Esquire.
Okay, so the next one from O-Noodle is directed at Nina. It asks, are there any foods that you miss and that you have not been able to replicate with vegan ingredients?
I thought it was BoxMac. I thought it was macaroni and cheese, but then we did another vegan one recently that's coming down the line, and we found something that was okay, or that the gentleman think was okay, and I thought it was gross. So I think I'm not looking for that cheese flavor anymore. But not too bad. Some eggs. I was a scrambled egg person. I found some tofu scrambles that were pretty good. Mostly feta cheese. And then again, I thought it was BoxMac. I thought I was looking for mac and cheese. But when I got something that was close, I guess I'm not looking for it anymore.
You know that, like, if you give up sugar for a long time, when you try sugar again,
Yeah, it's not as appealing.
or fat, or if you give up fat for a long time, you try fat again, it actually tastes rancid.
That's right.
Because
That's always been the case with me and whole milk. I've always drank 1% milk, and drinking whole milk tastes like sour.
although you went to whole milk for a while, have you
I'm back.
exited?
Yeah, I've exited. I've used my exit option.
Did you love BoxMac back when you used to have it? Did you love it like we do?
I didn't love it, but it was a comfort food. It's something that you can go to. It's always going to be good. It's always a fair side.
Sure.
And that's what I lost with the veganism is that creamy lasagnas, stuffed shells, pasta type things that have that cheesy element.
Yeah.
And then when I find something that's supposed to be a good replacement now,
It's not.
I'm not feeling it. So it's either not a good replacement or it's so close that it's gross.
Yep.
Next question.
Next question.
All right, next question, again from O-Noodle. Are there any plans for the Kraft Keeper to make future appearances?
Yeah.
He says, I know that the stick kept breaking when you made him talk, but it was easily my favorite BoxMac bit.
Oh,
It was super fun to make.
It was really fun.
And you can hear even more info on how we did it on the commentary track for the Halloween show on the Blu-ray, which will be available in the store relatively soon, even for those who didn't donate to the Kickstarter. I predict. The problem is, like, whenever we do a holiday special or something, we normally come up with it a week or two in advance.
Yeah.
And then we shoot it, and it comes together really quickly. So I don't know what future. But
Frankie, I can't imagine a future in which we do more BoxMac specials and he's not involved.
I predict that the Kraft Keeper will be a staple of not just Halloween shows, but all holiday specials. And that
If we can get him back, if he's not in New York with his fashion empire refusing to return for the
Fuller House reference right there. Currently, he sits downstairs with a novelty USA hat.
waiting.
I thought it was a Cat in the Hat hat, to be honest. You gotta put a picture. We can't live edit a picture.
The sunglasses are 4th of July sunglasses. Those are American sunglasses.
We think that we'll be doing a 4th of July episode, and we were thinking about maybe that's the time to cut up some hot dogs or to do sort of barbecue style Macs.
BBQ Mac.
And maybe an
That's the chili Mac one.
or a chili Mac. Maybe that's an outdoor Mac episode.
Yeah.
And maybe, just maybe, we come up with a little narrative that includes him. I don't know.
4th of July.
I really don't know.
We'll see. We'll see when we get there.
We do have an upcoming show. I'll spoil it just a little bit. there is an April Fool's joke, April Fool's episode coming up.
Don't give the joke away, though.
No?
No. Don't do it. Don't do it.
Okay.
Not even for these, like, news noodles.
All right.
Okay, and we have one last question from Old Noodle, who is in the chat right now and has revealed herself to, in fact, be a female.
Female noodle.
So apologies for the past references to Old Noodle as a man or non-gender specific being.
A genderqueer BoxMac fan.
So the final question is, may I adopt John? I promise to treat him well and feed him a lot.
I mean, you're not available for adoption.
I'm kind of, you missed your chance by, I don't know, 18, 20, 30 years, something like that. But
would you have allowed yourself to be adopted out of your biological home? I mean,
no, I was had a happy upbringing. I was okay. I don't think my parents would have conceded me either. But
no.
But maybe, I don't know. It depends on the terms of the deal. You'd have to negotiate with my agent.
He's a great friend to have around. He's just down the street. If you move to the area, you could probably become a friend.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
John rarely sends away friends.
That's true. I'm not against people. I like people generally.
There have only been a couple of times where he's had to tell people to go the hell home.
Yes, I have done that, but it's rare. It's rare.
All right.
Okay. The next set of questions are ones that have been gathered from other places across the internet. Before we do get to these questions, though, I think it's probably a good idea to open up the floor to the questions in our chat first.
I'm sure we've missed a bunch.
Well, I think he's been monitoring them effectively.
Okay.
Yeah, I've been going back through them. Okay, so
Great moderator.
let's see. The next one we had was what add-ons are acceptable in a box of standard macaroni and cheese? What are your thoughts on hot dogs and more cheese? I guess we've already kind of
we not
hot dogs, but how about more cheese?
More is actually an interesting one. More cheese is and I've seen it done certainly, and I've done it a little bit myself. If I want to get a little bit of extra sharp cheese in there, I've certainly done it. I don't know. You probably haven't. You probably don't engage in that. It was like advanced Mac.
What are you accusing me of?
Basic Mac. I'm accusing you of basic Mac.
All right. I don't know.
Okay.
Frankie has no passion for life. It's all gone.
There's like 1,000 Macs out there. Try one of them. Not everything has to happen in a lab.
No, but they're asking for opinion, Frankie.
I know, we gave it. Hot dogs are good. Chorizo's better. Tuna sucks.
All right.
Moving on with the condiments.
Look, you didn't hear the question. You're insulting our poor viewers. But go on. What's the next noodle?
I can't believe Trent Holmes in the chat. Yeah, go on.
Okay, so next one we've got is when is Nina getting her own show?
Oh, a Nina show.
But how presumptuous. The when.
The when?
I mean, she'd have to learn how to edit first.
Oh.
Although we are in deep discussions about Nina heavier shows.
Is now a good time?
Sure, why not?
To
what are we
address-
talking about?
Well, the change up in format?
Yeah, but that doesn't involve Nina in the least.
Sure it does.
Well, it does a little, but are we going to do coffee talk?
What about Negan?
Not coffee talk.
What about the Negan show?
All right,
The
so
Negan show. That's right.
I described a minute ago or a little while ago how we're at capacity a little
Yeah.
bit. We're kind of hitting a viewership cap. About 1,000 plus people tune in every week,
And we love yous.
and we love you, and we think that there's probably more of you out there.
Yeah,
But those people just aren't searching for mac and cheese online.
that's right.
That combined with the fact that a lot of you have requested for a more, for us to branch outside of mac and cheese, we do think this ain't gonna happen tomorrow, but maybe soon, maybe within the year, BoxMac turns into Junk Cooks.
Yeah,
And Junk Cooks.
Junk Cooks.
And it would be the exact same show,
Yeah.
exactly the way that you like it.
The show you've grown up with.
But
If you are 6-month-old.
but instead of making mac and cheese, maybe we make tacos. Maybe we make
I'm not
Indian
going to
food.
make tacos. I'm not going to make Indian food.
What are you gonna make?
I don't know. We'll make something.
Maybe Nina shows us more vegan stuff.
That's right.
Maybe, the idea would be, look, I'm just going to shoot straight with you. The idea would be that we're talking about more things than BoxMac to make ourselves more discoverable.
That's right. We want to get more of you great fans in. And hopefully you come for us and a little bit for the mac and cheese. and not just for the macaroni and cheese. Because if you're coming just for that, I don't know. I think we're a little overkill.
Like we look on YouTube, like if you do a search for Kraft dinner versus American mac and cheese, which was one of our big episodes. Somebody who's outranking us is this older, fairly unattractive woman staring at it.
She's gonna see this and she's gonna be so.
She's in there now. She's in the chat.
Staring at her webcam, just blabbing about it.
Yeah.
And like she has 52,000 subscribers.
So maybe that's what I do with my show.
So the cream does not rise to the top, as
That's right.
Randy Savage once said. The cream doesn't rise to the top, brother. Apparently, I think we're the cream.
No, but I think there's a lot more people who would enjoy us and our format, and they're being blocked by Mac. So I think the idea
they're being blocked by Mac.
Blocked by Mac. Mac block.
Much like our colons.
Wow, poop jokes. All right, but no, and what do you guys think of that? Like, type it out on your computer keyboards.
And a lot of you ask for Junt's cards more, please. Junt's cards, dope.
Junt's cards.
And just trying to add another show. The other thing that we sometimes, if we do want to stay on a weekly schedule, we sometimes have a hard time. Like, when do you want to see? You know, if a second piece of content was coming out in a week, would you want that to drop on Wednesdays? Would you want that to drop on Thursdays? We do release other content, and the fact is, it just doesn't get. It gets a quarter of the hits that BoxMac does. So that's kind of, in terms of new showage.
Yeah, that's what we're thinking.
That's what we're thinking.
Plus coffee talk. That's a running gag. You'll hear it over and over again.
You have to explain it.
No, okay. So Nina, I think you should explain.
Okay, a show that I might do now that I know that I can get more hits than these two do just by sitting and talking at my webcam is I'm contemplating, not seriously, a show with John called Coffee Talk, where he drinks hot chocolate and I drink tea, and we will talk to you folks.
Yes, so just about nothing related.
If you have an interest in that, I might be able to get that going. It won't be edited. The production value will not be
it will be very low.
As it is
very low.
But the hits will be higher.
Because it has a name now.
Yeah, I could maybe do it in a bathing suit if that helps.
Yeah.
And we'll figure that out.
But the important part of the joke that you may have missed is that neither of us are drinking coffee. It's hilarious! Okay. Maybe we should move on to the next question.
Yes.
Okay. Next question from the chat is, what is the status on the prospective Mac documentary?
We were never serious.
Yeah.
Basically, the worst version of Coffee Talk.
Yeah. So I mean, if I think if through some miracle the Kickstarter had like suddenly exploded.
If they gave us 50K.
Yeah.
We could never or even like 20. I think we have to go do it. But
yeah.
Here's what's going on behind the scenes in terms of other non-episodic related content.
Yeah.
Nina and I are co-directing a documentary called "Till Debt Do Us Part," which is about why weddings have become so expensive.
Yeah.
And I think it's actually coming out pretty great. But we do need to get back to it and finish it up. And then I also have 2 narrative scripts that are in development.
2 unnamed projects.
And those I really would love to be able to get away from BoxMac for half a second and go make a couple of movies.
Yeah, because that was where our genesis kind of is, And as much as I enjoy doing BoxMac and love seeing the interactivity of the fans, I mean, doing the more serious films is kind of more exciting to me.
Yeah, and you record audio on them. You're completely crew. You're in no way a personality.
That's right.
I have a question for you, since it's a Q&A.
Okay.
What's it like to have gone from behind the camera to in front of the camera?
I mean, I think that it's always I've always kind of been in front of the camera personality anyway. When I'm around you, when I'm around people in general. So it wasn't that big a transition for me. I like both. I like being the tech side. I'm big into tech. And I like being on this side as well. I'm glad I'm entertaining to everybody. So it's all good.
All right. Got anything else?
Yeah, we've got a bunch more in the chat.
Millions.
Next one is, what was the best thing that John has ever found at Grandma's attic?
Grandma's attic. I think it was that box. That box of video games.
And after all the years you've been going, it happened to be a Junt's Car episode.
That's right.
The greatest thing.
Oh, that box was such a good buy. I mean, in today's market, that box.
Where is that box right now?
It's with the Super Nintendo collection.
So you did not.
just interject for a moment and say that for people who may just be BoxMac only viewers, since this is technically the BoxMac Q&A live stream, that Grandma's attic is not literally Junt's grandmother's attic, but rather a church sale, outdoor church sale. Correct?
Box of video game paraphernalia.
Yeah, it had multiple systems and mini games, and it was $10.
N64, GameCube, a GBA. It had some of the most classic titles from every one of the Star Fox 64.
A lot of
Super
great
Mario
games.
3. It's pretty cool. A light gun.
That was priced by some wonderful 76-year-old Portuguese.
$10.
And that's the thing about church fairs and flea markets. You don't.
It's less and less, but church fairs.
Yeah.
You don't go to them to get a good deal.
Yeah.
You go to them to get an incredible deal. You go to them to find a treasure.
Well, I don't know about that. I don't know if that's entirely true.
It is.
But
It's entirely true.
Maybe that's for another debate. But definitely that box of stuff, that box of video games is the best deal I've ever done.
But what I wanted to say was, I knew when he bought that he was not going to organize it nicely and actually use it. It was $10 for this massive thing of video games. That day, we ran into a kid that went to high school with us. He's autistic. He doesn't have any money. And it would have been the nicest thing in the world for old lady John to just hand him the $10 box and say, it would have made his year. And the dude was like, I wish I had found that box. And John was like, yep, too bad I got here early.
I didn't say it like that. I wasn't sure.
And now that box sits collecting dust in John's house. And that's the other criticism I have about the Super Nintendo collection. Every now and then I want to pop one on.
Is this the end of your friendship?
This is the end of the friendship. Every now and then I'm like, let's pull out a game and play it. He can't access the games. They're all
in storage containers. I mean, what do you want? I don't have like a massive house.
But why have a collection if you can't get to it? We couldn't even play I wanted to show him the Blu-ray the other day. He couldn't even fire
The
that.
criticisms are constant, friend. Get out of here. No, okay.
Well,
if you're done bashing me, let's move on to the next question.
I'm done, but he should have given that kid.
Oh, fine. Come over, Chad. I'll give you the damn video game box.
Next one. Okay, if money was no object, what kind of film or show would you love to create? And I guess that goes to everybody here.
What was the question?
Yeah. Must have been attention. Would you read it again, Mr. Moderator?
Sure. If money was no object, what kind of film or show would you love to create?
So I'll go first on this one. I've always wanted to create a very technical narrative film. And I mean, I have some kind of ideas around it, but it would really be something that would have to be a collaboration with a lot of people. And it would be really cool and interesting. That's kind of a pie in the sky thing. On a little more practical basis, I would love to do a cooking show. I really love cooking. I would love to like do like an Emeril Lagasse style show, but with a bit more comedy than he does. Like all those cooking shows are pretty dry, I think. Something like that. I don't know, Frankie. What do you think?
For the most part, everything that I want to make, everything that I feel that I need to express artistically, is within our means.
Yeah.
Every feature film that we've made so far, some of them are a little bit more technical than others. Some of them are as simple as people talking to each other. Yeah. There's one that we made called Sexually Frank that's really starring Nina and I. And some people think it's the best thing we ever made. And most of my ideas are pretty lo-fi. We made Abo the Hue Monkey. I'm wearing the shirt for Abo the Hue Monkey, which required some prosthetic makeup. And we found Tom Savini's School of Makeup had some students that helped us with that. That was incredible. If there was one thing, though, that money would really help me with, it would be higher output, like so we could actually do the stuff more and more often. And two, I would love to do much more animation. Yeah. Currently, like if anybody has perused the YouTube channel outside of BoxMac, the thing that went viral for me before BoxMac, it's kind of crappy to say that BoxMac went viral because it didn't really. Yeah. But what did was this cartoon I made called Lord of the Rings by George Lucas, which is an animation I made when I was much younger, and it was parodying George Lucas. And since then, I've made a few, especially EJ animated, a number of cartoons that I wrote and voiced, and they're super fun. And I feel like it's right in my wheelhouse of ability to satirize. And the reason that we don't make one of those a week or one of those a month.
Tremendous amount of work.
Is because it's a tremendous amount of work and requires many more resources. So I'd love to do more animation.
I mean, I think just in general, if money was no object, having a bunch of supporting people to do a lot of the stuff that we do that would enable the content creation without us having to do the grunt work of editing. I don't really do much besides show up and look pretty, but even then, and not that pretty. But I think that would enable lots of additional stuff.
Quitting our full-time jobs, making content full-time, that's what money would
Sure.
Yeah.
Okay, next question. Have you ever tried Trader Joe's frozen mac, and what do you think about the Trader Joe's brand as a whole?
So I have not tried their frozen mac. I've very rarely been in a Trader Joe's, so I don't have a lot of experience with them. We have tried their BoxMacs. I find them hoity-toity or highfalutin or fifi. I think fifi was the word that we used. Except for the Easy Mac, Trader Joe's Easy Mac, like the one you make in the microwave, was actually quite good. I quite liked it. But besides that, I don't know. I don't really buy into the whole premium grocery store experience. Frankie, what do you think?
I went to Trader Joe's a couple of months ago with Nina.
Yep.
And I hated it. For one thing, I'm not impressed by your little brand.
Yeah.
That you're clearly, I don't know.
They're totally throwing our Trader Joe's sponsorship out the window.
Good.
Nobody's ever going to sponsor us. Maybe, like, honestly, about supermarkets, though, like, I'm so much more into a market basket. I don't know if you guys, that's not a big chain, but it's a very old style. They don't even have a website. Market Basket does not have a website. That's amazing.
Here's what Trader Joe's was tremendously pretentious.
Yeah.
And not necessarily all that much more healthy.
Sure.
I didn't get the sense that they were actually healthier, but they do. Man, do they imply it?
Yeah.
And getting out of the store was worse. Was worse than getting out of Walmart.
Slow.
I couldn't get through the damn It was a lot of old rich ladies that couldn't get on with their lives.
Yeah.
Everything is angled in the store. I don't really care for that for some reason.
Yeah, like all the. Yeah.
With Nina and I swore it up. And the thing is like there were people swarming the place.
Yeah.
This was in Foxborough. This was actually over by Foxborough Stadium where the Patriots play. And it was no fun at all. And every time you talk food, eventually somebody in the mix goes, "Have you gone to Trader Joe's?"
Yes, and they do.
And I just don't want them in my life, these people.
Nina, what do you think of Trader Joe's?
I didn't like it. I also found that there wasn't any food. There was lots of snack food. And anytime you ever read those lists online that are like best things to buy at Trader Joe's,
Yeah.
they're all, the cookie butter and different chips. And
That's
cookies.
right.
Cookie
And
butter.
I couldn't manage to put together like a meal. There was a little produce section. Maybe it was this one particular Trader Joe's. But looking around, I couldn't really do my weekly shop there.
Yep.
I could buy lots of snack foods.
Mm.
So maybe if I was hosting a little get together, it would be nice.
We're all against it. I don't think any of us like it.
We've got a guy who thumbs down every video of ours, and he's even thumbed down the stream.
I love him. I love you, whoever you are.
Who the hell are you, you penis?
All right. Question.
Okay. Next question. Have you considered making a spin-off of another type of food? Spin-off series, pardon me, of another type of food.
Yeah, I think we just talked about that, and I think we're active. We're test floating the idea to you guys to see what you think.
Would you
tune in?
Would you be sad if not every week it was Mac?
Yeah, if it was other foods, it would still be us. It would look pretty much the same, except we cook real stuff besides macaroni and cheese. I do like to actually cook real food.
It's hard though because Mac is what makes us different from everyone else.
That's right.
And what we're proposing is we'd like to be the same as everyone else.
Same as everyone else.
And but bring our je ne sais quoi to it.
Je ne sais quoi. I like that. That's very frank.
So we don't know. We are caught between a Mac and a hot place.
That's right. That's right.
A box and a Mac.
Oh yeah.
Okay. Next question we have gotten a few of are people asking about guest hosting, like if they can come and guest host.
Angry Kirby, who I see was in the stream.
Yeah.
He's another YouTuber. He was from the area.
Yeah.
And he came on.
And I thought it went really well.
Yeah. Well, we also had a fantastic topic that week.
We did.
If you guys have seen the electric Mac cooker, the competitor to the Rapid Mac, we review it, and I can't wait for you to see that.
That's coming up, right? That's not out yet.
Not next weekend, but the weekend after.
Yep.
So he was on that one. He also did some art for us.
Really cool art.
So between being another YouTuber, being local, and having done some really nice art, that bought his way in, man. If people swarmed in from the country,
yeah,
it would be kind of difficult to manage. But if it made sense to us,
yeah,
we're
YouTube people. I mean, if you have a YouTube presence, we're all about it. Or if you know, come talk to us, and we'll figure it out on a case-by-case basis.
We would really love to cross promote with somebody else.
Yeah,
that would
that's
be
what we're into.
that would be the thing that would make us want to do it.
Yep.
Okay, and that's about it for the questions from within the chat. And now we can move on to the other questions that we gathered from other spots of the internet, if y'all are still up to it.
Sure. Oh, yeah, sure.
Yeah.
Okay. So what other YouTube shows or series is on YouTube do y'all enjoy?
We talked about that a little on After Hours Part 2, because I think somebody had asked that question. We tried to address it. I'll go down my list of subscriptions. How about that? I subscribe to JonTron, EJ's channel, of course, Excitement Bicycle, Every Frame of Painting, which is
I love that channel.
an exceptional.
That's wonderful.
If you like filmmaking dissections.
Yeah, they did a great one on Coen Brothers this week. So that was wonderful.
Kevin Smith, Black Nerd Comedy, Screen Junkies, Red Letter Media, The Gaming Historian is the sort of short and medium form documentaries on gaming. Confused Matthew, who's a YouTuber who I'm kind of close with.
Yep.
He used to do these really awesome reviews of movies, and he doesn't do videos anymore, but I think I can book him to do a podcast.
Hey, that'd be cool.
On our network. And that is when we launch our new website, hopefully in the next month or two.
Yeah.
We've been working on, there is a saga. Someday I'll tell the whole story.
Yeah. In a book.
Maybe in a book. But I've been trying to get a new version of our website built that can house all of this content in a really nicely organized way. If you go to redcowentertainment.com right now, BoxMac's actually not even mentioned.
That's so sad.
Because the website's essentially defunct.
Oh, man.
Oh, no.
Maddox, I watch Maddox. C-Smod, anything with Penn Jillette. I love Penn Jillette. Cinemassacre, the Angry Video Game Nerd. And I watch Doug Walker, the channel Awesome. I watch some of that stuff sometimes.
I'm not quite as into YouTube as Frankie is. I like to consume my media a little differently, but there are a few people that I'll...
And by that, he means he watches old clips of The Dating Show from...
I'm going to bring that up. So if you search for What's My Line, the channel What's My Line, all they have is organized, dated episodes of the 1950s game show What's My Line. It's brilliantly organized. It's a wonderful channel to spend some time on.
Did you ever watch like Supermarket Sweep? Any of like
Yes.
the shows?
Another one I really love is Wink Martindale's channel. He posts these really great old episodes of TV shows and nice little tributes to actors. I think it's a wonderful channel. There's one video game channel I really like. Doesn't too many videos, but they're really high quality. It's called Gold Vision. He does these really funny comedy videos. There's one that I really like called BigClive.com. Who he buys Chinese electronics and takes them apart and does an analysis of them. Sometimes they're hilariously badly built. Very interesting. Those are the kind of things that I'm into.
Awesome.
Okay. Next question is, how much mac did you eat before you guys started the show?
Yeah. I think we kind of covered that. The reason we made the show is because we ate a lot of mac.
Sure. I mean, for a while I hadn't actually. When I was losing weight, I lost a lot of weight and I gained it all back, unfortunately. But I hadn't had mac for years.
Actually, the same. Because I lost some weight around the time you did too.
Yeah.
We kind of swore it off for a while.
That's right.
And now look at us.
Now look at us. It's such a sad noodle.
Well, actually, I think you have a question coming up about this. So I'll save it. But
yeah,
we ate a ton.
Yeah. Okay. Next is, do you guys finish the bowls of mac and cheese that you make for the show, or do you just toss them?
The day starts. This is how it goes.
Yeah.
The day starts off with us going in hungry.
That's right.
Because we know there's going to be a lot of mac available. As you see from the show, we cook the whole box every time.
Yeah, we usually start pretty early too, at 9, 10 in the morning. I don't eat breakfast.
And we finish, and we try to go easy the night before.
Yeah.
And we finish things off around 2 or 3 o'clock p.m.
Yep.
And then that's our whole day of shooting. So we kind of gorge on whatever the first mac is.
Provided it's not terrible.
If it's not terrible. But even then, even if it's mediocre, you're hungry enough that you end up eating.
You'll go for it. I won't. I'll say no way because I know there's good macs coming up. But sometimes you get into a situation where there are no good macs, and then what do you do?
So then this the fullness catches up to you sometimes halfway through shooting an episode, and that's when we get tired. Logie,
carb, yeah.
Nina actually is nice enough she always cleans up the kitchen between shows.
It makes the show possible, let me tell you.
And so she'll be the one being like, I'm about to throw this mac out. Does anyone want it?
Yeah.
I end up being like, yeah, I'll eat it.
Yeah.
And so I end up eating mac I don't even want.
Yeah, I try not to do that. I really only I'll eat at the beginning, or if a mac is really good. Like,
and then it's helpful. You guys should say that EJ is there, Zach is
that's right.
there. Occasionally, there's a couple of other people.
We try to encourage people to come to just dissolve some of the mac.
Thank God they do, because if they don't, as you know, if they don't, it's literally John.
Yeah, and throwing it into the trash. I actually changed recently on the show from using butter to using margarine, because we just throw away butter, and butter's expensive. So we changed over. You won't notice at home, but for the live stream.
Yeah. So that's the answer. But I will say that, like, as much as I used to eat mac, I never ate this much mac in one sitting.
Oh no.
So I'm learning things about what happens to your body.
It's not good. If you get bloaty and sad
and shardy.
I don't get that.
Okay. No. You end up craving vegetables unlike you ever have.
Oh yeah, in the evenings after we do those shows, I always want like just a grilled chicken breast.
Yeah, exactly.
All right, what's our next question?
Okay, the next question is directed to Nina. How long have you been a vegan?
2013.
Yeah.
August 2013.
Yeah. So about 2.5-ish years. A couple years before that, vegetarian. Yeah.
Okay.
So when we did our film, we shot a movie, a feature film, in late 2013. You had just recently become a vegan, and you often helped us with snacks and stuff for the shoots, and you were trying to kind of push us all a little bit less.
Well, yeah, at times the majority of the snacks were vegan without telling you guys anything.
That's
because
right.
as I've said on the BoxMac episode, there's a lot of awful vegan food for you. So I could supply Oreos and certain types of cookies.
That's right.
You can get really out of shape being a vegan.
Yeah, I mean, you can totally do it without eating any nutrition whatsoever.
Nina does work out a lot too.
Yes.
That's true.
She got a half marathon coming up next month.
That's crazy. Craziness. Next
Okay.
question.
Next question. Do people stare at you or get freaked out when you guys film Junt's Cart?
I was actually thinking about that today. We reviewed the questions, and yeah, people do, especially old people, because they kind of. They really do. I don't know if you've noticed it.
Yeah, well, I'm the one shooting most of the time now, so I have to do things. I have to shoot covertly.
Yeah.
And I try to face the camera screen away from where they would be able to peer over it. I want them to question whether or not I'm actually shooting anything. But what normally gives us away is John in his hosting.
Yeah, when I'm in full host mode, I'm a bit rambunctious.
Because the fact is, people don't speak to each other this way when they're shopping.
Well,
No.
yeah, I was thinking the amount of discussion and explaining to each other what we're thinking about when we look at products. Most people don't evaluate things that in depth themselves, let alone share that information with anyone else. So they're kind of bewildered by us discussing.
Yeah, like talking about it kind of loudly and forcefully. It was actually funny in the end and hope when we did the Junt's Cart today. We try to. We don't try to. We're not trying to hide ourselves, but. We don't want to like have run-ins with the associates there. So in order to keep it cool, I kept talking like the whole time as if Frankie was shooting, even when he wasn't.
Yes.
And it actually makes you just look like a slightly crazy person. People are interested. I'm just really passionate about curtains in my discussion. At least I'm not talking to myself. I'm talking to someone who's also being passionate about it. So we're just very passionate people.
We were the most excited people. That
we're super excited about curtains. The Frankie's not filming. We're just super excited about curtains.
And this guy is really articulate about the history of retail. Like, imagine like if you were shopping and you ran into somebody doing that. It'd be amazing. They're freaked out. Yeah,
absolutely.
Okay. On the heels of that question, have you guys ever thought about getting camera glasses to film episodes of Junt's Cart?
Well, that would make life a lot easier.
Yeah.
I don't know how high quality those are. I'm sure you can get some pretty nice ones. The other problem is it gonna shake a lot like as I walk around?
Yeah, that's the other thing too, because it'll kind of look kind of goofy.
And then also
the audio situation.
That's true. I think they have microphones in the.
Am I like I like to get nice pans and stabilize. So now you got him looking like a crazy person.
Blah, blah,
And then,
blah, blah.
meanwhile, I'm doing this.
Blah, 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 blah. Man, these curtains are really great, insulated for your whole house.
Ooh, I think
Save you months
I
of
think
money.
a great brooch.
Months of
or
money.
a camera.
A brooch
So
camera.
it's all taken from the perspective
Sure.
of my boobs.
Yeah, the boob cam.
The boob
Well,
cam.
you can put it in the corner and flash it. Boob
Yeah.
cam.
I think to most people, boob cam means a shot
A
of
cam
boobs.
on the
A
boobs.
shot of boobs.
No,
but-
instead it's from the
Yeah.
boobs.
Hey,
Right.
we're gonna get more hits. We're just gonna do it as the boob cam.
Boob cam.
Coming soon.
I don't know. Link me in because you know what? That would actually make John's card a whole lot easier.
It would.
There is a YouTuber who uses them on the regular. He does visits to thrift stores, and the footage from it is pretty good. It's relatively stable and relatively high quality. The audio does suffer, obviously, but I mean, if you had another
We can
microphone
do
hooked up.
Yeah, we could do a wireless pack and just put a
Zoom
in the
recorder
pocket.
or
Yeah,
something.
Zoom in the pocket. Yeah, maybe we'll take a look into that. Good suggestion.
Okay. Next question. How did Frankie and John meet?
Hey, there's a one for you.
So, what? Believe it or not, when I'm working on it, never thought I could be so free. When next question. When I was like 6 years old, I saw Rocky. That was like my favorite movie ever.
It's going back pretty fast.
Yeah, well, sometimes you got to fill out the story.
Sure.
I saw him running up the steps and all that, and I wanted to do that too. My dad said, "Hey, I used to run in the '70s. We should go for runs together." So now I was a 6-year-old doing 3 to 5 mile runs.
Frankie was in some kind of shape. Let me
I
tell
was
you.
in serious shape at one time. Then I met John, and and then around 6th or 7th grade, my dad said, "Hey, I wonder if the high school cross country team would let you run with them, since the middle school obviously doesn't have a cross country team." And my sister had done that too. So he spoke to the principal or whatever, and he got me in there. So now all of a sudden, I am in 7th. I'm like 12 years old, and the oldest kids were 18.
Mm.
So you had these teenagers, and they were like, "Who is this, and who let him run with us?"
Yeah.
So I'm like 12, and I'm with them. But there was a freshman, meaning she was only 2 years older than me, and it was John's sister, Michaela.
Yeah. He was 4 years younger than me.
And 2 years older than me.
Yeah.
So she was super cute and also really fun. And I got a real huge crush on her. This predates Nina by about 2 years. And I started trying to, like, we came up with some ideas about like shooting film sketches because I had just gotten into, there's a story on one of the BoxMac episodes, but my parents had helped me build a home video editing
That's right.
system, which in 2000 were almost unheard of.
Yeah.
And little did I know that just down the street was this guy named John Hunt who had figured it all out too.
Yeah, I was doing a little bit of light video stuff.
So Michaela, your sister, said, "You know, my brother would get a real kick out of you." And I heard somebody else was like, "You know, he's English."
At the time, I was speaking almost always with a British accent because I found that people actually were much nicer when you spoke with a British accent
Right.
to me. So I was just a light British accent all the time, just kind of like this, just a little bit,
Just kind of the melody of English.
yeah, like I kind of learned it from my father, and not really, anything like
It
that.
makes you really weird. So I remember one time she had a party, and she had me come over to the house, and I got there really early.
Yeah,
And I met your mom. It was the only time I met your mom.
that's right.
Uh,
She would die soon.
She died later that year. But the Hunts took me in. I didn't know John yet, and I remember hearing a lot of creaking upstairs, and then the thud, 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 thud. And I remember Michaela. I have this like in my mind for it when my synapses fire their last.
Sure.
This will be one of the last things. She goes, "The beast awakens," and then it was you. And you were, and she was like, "John, this is my friend Frankie," and you were like, "Hello," and you kept moving.
I remember that. I was going somewhere. I don't remember where, but I went, "Hello," and you were just kind of sitting in the chair looking timid.
Yeah, I was really young. And then a couple weeks later, she was like, "We should do this. We should make these comedy sketches about our track team," which is stupid, but whatever. And she said John would love to participate in that. He's into video and audio as well. The three of us got together.
Yep.
We shot. You saw some of the clips in the viewer submitted Max
That's right.
episode. we shot this terrible thing.
Incoherent thing.
This very early narrative effort.
Watching the soaps.
Yeah. And we went in your caravan.
Yep.
Which was like what you called the con.
Con, because the one of the letters on the back had fallen off because it said caravan, but what the letters are called, fallen off, so Gary called the con.
And then we got Wendy's Frosties.
Yep.
And I was like, man, this is amazing. I have there's a friend who can drive. I can buy, because when you're like 13, 14, like we can go get food, any food we want. Like I've been in shape. I hate that. And and then Michaela, ended up going to the prom with some guy and got a boyfriend and made me very sad. And I started IMing with you about it.
Yeah.
And you were like, well, why don't you come over to my house when she goes to the prom and we'll watch Orgasmo and eat nacho cheese.
Nacho cheese.
Then
Building 19 nacho cheese.
Then I told John, I said, hey, there's this feature film that I want to make called I Need to Lose 10 Pounds. And I had a script written, and I said, my friends want to help me do it. And you were like, hey, I'm a music composer. I can compose music. I play 6 different kinds of instruments and all this stuff. Yeah. And between lending the technical resources, John had at least enough money to buy cameras and to buy mics. Between being able to write music, suddenly it went from, well, I can't make a feature movie, that's impossible, to possible because of John. And we've been making movies since then together.
That's right.
During high school, especially when Nina was off on the weekends, we would hang out every single weekend.
That's right.
There were some weekends where I would just sleep in his room every single day.
Yeah.
And then go to school and never see my parents. So you taught me how to drive too. For the most part, when I was getting my license. So
much history
much history.
All right. Next question is for John. What's your favorite store?
What's my favorite store? I mean, like I said earlier, sadly, it's the now deceased Building 19. But if I want to have a nice time now, it is Ocean State Job Lot. I have to leave it. Ocean State Job Lot doesn't turn product over very fast, so you need to leave it a couple weeks before you'll get some really new, exciting things. But I do really love that store. That's probably it's my go-to now. Now that Building 19's gone, definitely would have been Building 19 before that.
My favorite stores are like any comic book shop, really.
Yeah, you like that kind of thing. I'm not so much into that. I like a good browsing bargain store where you can, like last night I went to Ocean State Job Lot, for example. I bought a pair of regular dress shoes for $25.
Yeah, because who needs regular ones?
Yeah, well, I have to go to my sister's wedding. My sister's getting married in May, and I need some shoes that aren't like slippers that I wear everywhere. So I bought these regular dress shoes for $25. Retail price $119 if they're perfect. Found them in the back corner of Ocean State Job Lot. That's why I love it.
Okay. Next question. This is for all three of y'all. What are your day jobs?
So I'm a test engineer, test systems engineer. I design tests for industrial printers.
I'm the director of networking and telecommunications at Emerson College.
And I am a marine biologist.
She's not. She may not want to tell you.
No, I'm a nurse practitioner.
There you go.
Okay. And one final question off the list is, how has BoxMac changed your goals as filmmakers?
That's a good question.
Yeah, well, it's the most popular. It's the most consistently popular thing we've ever produced.
Yeah, I mean, I know that when as much as I love making the movies, they've always kind of struggled to find their audience. They have in some small ways for moments.
Well, because they have no discoverability.
Yes.
There's nothing about them that makes people search for them, or there's no demand for them.
That's right.
I've been lucky enough to have screened at a number of film festivals, and we've had some real near misses on distribution a couple of times. And some of the movies, at least the feedback I've gotten is they really speak to people and they really enjoy them. That some people have discovered the feature films through BoxMac and they're like, wow, I didn't realize you guys did this. But they're a lot of effort for not a lot of outcome.
Yeah.
And BoxMac is lower effort, not low effort, but lower effort certainly than making a feature.
Yep.
A little bit more disposable and a lot higher outcome of feedback.
Yes.
Every Sunday, I can expect to see people.
You find people commenting on the video
and being entertained by what we're doing, and so that's that's the closest thing I've ever felt to being a professional entertainer.
Yeah, I think so, and I feel that same way. While I love making the films, it's so much easier to find an audience with BoxMac.
So we really want to turn this into something bigger, as we've talked about earlier in the stream. EJ's involvement has been really critical.
Mm-hmm.
You can see us obviously trying to turn BoxMac into something bigger when we do the holiday specials and stuff.
I don't think though that our film drive is gone, or your film drive certainly.
No, my goals are. I'm going to make films until the day I die. So, I guess the short answer to the question is BoxMac has really raised my engagement with, or has made me a lot more engaged with making weekly content and that sort of thing.
Sure.
But it has caused me to have to slow down on other kinds of forms that I'm more interested in. But we keep busy. I mean, I just put out a book.
Read the book.
And if you're, a lot of the Kickstarter people will
be getting one.
We'll get one. But it's, it's kind of,
it's on the store now, available in stores nowhere except the redcut.com site.
It actually does.
No, it's on Amazon.
It does detail a lot of what we talked about today, how we met, how we make movies,
yep.
and what keeps us creating.
All right, and that's it for all my questions here. If you guys want, we can either open up the floor to some more chat questions, or we can just kind of end out here.
Is there anything else in the chat? Anybody got any last-minute questions?
I see Aaron St. Laurent there, which is
that's amazing.
He's a co-host on. He is the co-host of Hawaii, one of the funniest people I know, and he's asking, will we ever see TV's Gary?
Will we ever see TV's Gary on a show? Or just in general?
Gary is a longtime friend of John's. He was a crew member on the Halloween episode.
Yeah.
And they call him TV's Gary for no reason.
No reason.
And and it's a little bit funny. And Aaron, by asking the question, Aaron is making fun of it slightly.
Yes, he is. Will we ever see him? I don't know. We'll have to ask him. I mean, Gary was actually the one who gave us the Rapid Mac cooker. And I was hoping he would be able to come on for the episode. He did actually show up for a day of shooting, didn't he? Besides, no, just the day where we did the Halloween special. So.
There are lots of questions here, Mike. Maybe we should cover them.
Yeah, sure. Okay. So the next question after TV's Gary is, will you do a big Kraft taste-off where you taste Kraft mac and cheese from all around the world and see how they compare?
I think we have to do that at some point because that's what gets hits.
Yeah. You're really focused on the hits, and I understand.
What do you think this is?
Yeah, it's a hit fest.
You're not the one editing on the bus.
Oh no.
You're not. You don't have the marriage failing.
The marriage is fine, folks. No. I forgot the question.
Shut up. Yeah. Well, I don't know. I don't know if it would be Kraft per se. I mean, it could be anything, right? Yes, we'll do something like that. Oh, but on that same note,
sure.
I can't tell you how many people have been like, could you please implement some kind of scoring system? Could you please implement...
I actually had envisioned that in the original thing. There's
supposed to be a rating.
Yeah,
so
you know how Top Gear does that like wall of ratings? And they write the rating, and they put it like, I was thinking about doing something like that. Maybe, I don't know if it's too late to implement that. Though. We're kind of far in.
The thing is that it either is okay, or awesome, or sucks.
Yeah.
But
I think if we really thought about it, we could rate them. We could. I was originally going to have this rubric about rating macaroni and cheese.
Yeah, you guys could get some categories.
We do want to with
pasta and cheese and tang.
Yeah.
And
with the new website opening, we would like to have some kind of because when people ask, well, what's the best and what's the worst and that sort of thing, it would be nice to have a final ranking.
I think a good show would be like to just sit down and go through our top threes. Like we'll come up in advance and cook the top 3 max.
Yeah.
Maybe we'll check that out.
All right, next.
Okay, next one is what's the worst movie you've ever seen, or have you ever walked out of a movie?
Oh, I got one. The Thin Red Line. I know people love that film. I was so bored. I walked out. The only movie I ever walked out of, except there was one other one. I walked out of The Beach with Leonardo DiCaprio. And not because the movie was terrible, though it wasn't very good at all. It's because they put together the film wrong, and so it was reversed, and the audio was on the wrong side.
I'm out.
But anyway,
I don't have. I don't remember. I have walked out of movies. You know what? I walked out of Dumb and Dumber.
Oh, the new one.
I had it. I was like, I don't know why I'm doing this. Since then, I've last year there's a podcast about this. You joined me. I watched 75 hours.
Oh yeah. In terms of bad movies,
I couldn't possibly choose because I watch garbage all the time. Yeah. Either because I'm active with the independent film community or because like after this we're going to record a podcast about some of the movies we saw for the Oscars.
Yeah.
And not you might have seen the Red Cow Review Lounge video. We're going to do a follow-up that does even more movies. I mean, there are some terrible ones. I don't know. It's hard. It'd be hard to choose.
Yeah.
I see more bad movies than I see good movies.
Yeah.
Okay. Next question is, will there ever be a road trip episode to see if Boston Market's Mac has gone downhill and other restaurant Macs, sort of like a BoxMac road trip episode, I think is what this person's asking. If you can go from restaurant to restaurant, not just Boston Market.
I had a concept, and I told you about this concept, and it was kind of fun, in which we do something like BoxMac, but we just go to somebody's house. Somebody volunteers their house. We go to their house. We cook macaroni and cheese. They don't tell me where anything is in the kitchen. I just have to muddle my way through the kitchen while making macaroni and cheese. And I also comment about the kitchen's design and layout. I think that's kind of a BoxMac on the road, sort of. But it could also be fun. The thing is, though, that I'm not sure how interesting it is to go to a single location like Boston Market and just try their Mac. I don't know. What do you think, Megan?
Well, I don't quite understand what the idea would be there. We're driving to
a restaurant and having their Mac presumably and reviewing it.
Okay. Do I have to drive? Can't I just show up with the camera and start?
Sure. But then the episode's going to be like 4.5 minutes.
Can't I begin the edit when we start eating the Mac?
I don't think they mean that you're driving is the part of it. I think it's that you're going out.
Oh,
Yeah.
to leave the kitchen.
Yeah, on the road.
Yeah, no, I think we should. I think we should do, I think if we're going to do restaurant Macs, we should do them in the restaurants.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think
Maybe we'll give it a try.
I think it's a good idea.
Okay. Another question that we have here is, are there any thoughts on John hosting a show where the user sends in, or the guest cook rather sends in 5 regular ingredients and then 1 weird ingredient for him to use in a dish?
Yeah, you guys got a lot of ideas.
That's kind of a cooking show kind of idea, right? But I can just imagine people being cruel, and sending in I was at Ocean State Job Lot yesterday, and they had lemon curd. What would I possibly cook with lemon curd? And you people would send that in. You'd send in lemon curd, and what would I do? I'd have to make a pastry with lemon curd.
Well, they already have a suggestion in the comments as one of the special ingredients being peyote.
Peyote? I don't even know what that is.
So it's a psychedelic drug.
Psychedelic drug.
Oh.
We neither of us drink or do drugs.
No.
We just do Mac.
Just do Mac. Yeah, that's enough.
We never really got into
it's not our thing.
The whole getting fucked up thing.
That's right. Except
have you guys ever tried any of the beer Macs?
We don't drink.
They're
not. They don't have beer
macaroni.
directly in them. They're just cooked with beer instead of water.
But I don't want that beer taste in the Mac.
Well, maybe you don't. But for example, I actually love cooking with white wine. I think I could do a white wine Mac that would be really nice. It would be kind of an upscale, kind of fancy Mac. I could do something like that. I haven't tried a beer Mac though. There's a great place in Vermont called the Potbelly Pig that had some kind of whiskey Mac, and it was really good. It wasn't too strong, just a little bit flavor, served in a cast iron dish. Wonderful. But I haven't really had a beer Mac.
Okay.
All right. Let's see. Would you guys ever review boxed frozen mac and cheese pizza? They said I would send some stuff, but I can't mail frozen things.
Yeah, if we were to expand the show outside of Mac, I'm sure we would try frozen pizzas.
Yeah, that's another interesting one. Yeah. I mean, the frozen pizza market is kind of crazy now. There's so many of them, and some of them are pretty good. I still haven't had one that's as good as my favorite pizza shops, but
Froze Pete's.
That doesn't quite roll off the tongue like BoxMac does, does it? I'd certainly consider it. Hey, maybe we could expand to not just cooking things, but also just trying other products.
Okay. Another question is: have you guys communicated with the girls from the Australian Mac video?
No. Should I? No, I never reached out. But if
I just kind of called them out.
But I was given the advice from he's in the chat actually. But I was given advice by a marketing person to try to cross sponsor with them.
Sure.
But I did kind of diss them, didn't I?
You did a little bit. You need to have a reaction video of them watching BoxMac and oh,
I mean, I get.
Will I never?
What I said was, you only get hits because you're hot, and we're funnier than you.
You need like a fake flame war where like they can call you out.
They're never gonna want to talk to us.
I would love to get in what the kids call a Twitter beef with them.
Oh, Jesus.
So one of you is like Taylor Swift and the other one's Katy Perry.
Yeah, no, I'm Kanye.
Oh.
And
God.
I'm
And you're against everyone.
I am more influential than Kubrick and Apostle Paul. He said that recently.
Awesome.
And Eliasim.
Oh, gosh.
Don't fuck with me.
This is, parents and children could be watching right now, and you've just done it.
That's Kanye for
We
you.
can't edit it.
All
All right.
moving on.
That's
You
nice.
can't edit Kanye.
Okay. Will you guys have a DVD release party and signing?
We don't make DVDs anymore, but
Blu-ray
Blu-ray
is what they meant.
Blu-ray.
Yeah.
Well, what an idea. The problem is
Who's local? Do we have a lot of local viewers?
of the 1,000 of you, you're spread across the globe.
Yeah, so maybe 4 of you could come, and that would be kind of a sad party.
I tell you what if we could we try to do something in a live stream format?
Maybe we could do something like that, or I am planning this Mac Fest, and I'm considering
Open invitation?
open, not open, but open to people, select interested bodies that have been reviewed on a case by case basis.
That way they're not crazy.
Yeah, not totally crazy. 60% is fine, but any more than that, you gotta leave. But maybe we could do it then, roll all the BoxMac events. Though the Blu-ray will be out well before that happens.
Maybe we could do some kind of.
Well, we'll see how this live stream does. It seems like lots of people are engaged. It's totally cool.
This might be a nice alternative to After Hours.
Yeah,
Because I don't have to edit it.
that's right. You don't.
All right.
Okay.
What else?
This one is kind of in relation to that one. It's my own question. Would you guys? Well, first off, are you familiar with a company called the Alamo Draft House?
Oh yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Okay.
When
Frankie's Ben.
I screened at the Austin Film Festival last year, and our film did not screen at the Alamo, but it almost did. So no, I actually know the Austin programmers well, and I understand that they distribute their own line of films. Actually,
Really?
the theater distributes movies. Yeah.
That's really cool.
Yeah.
I think that concept of the theater is really awesome. I like it. I've never been myself. I've never been to Texas at all.
You can get delicious food there.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Mac?
I think they might have.
Yes, they do. So my question is that it is possible to rent out the theater. So if I could find a group of people in Texas interested in watching BoxMac when the DVD premieres, would you guys be willing to let that happen? Be willing to allow a theater screening of your content?
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
Who do I have to? Whose penis do I have to?
Hey, watch your language for the children.
Yeah, of course I would. How many people could you get to come?
I don't know. It would depend on who I can get in touch with, and I'd probably try to promote it through the subreddit.
You fill the theater, and I'll show up.
Okay.
He'll show up. I probably won't, but Frankie will definitely show up.
And
It's difficult for me to travel that far by plane.
and I'll maybe I'll even produce something exclusive for that crowd.
That would be fun, and
Fill the stadium with 35,000, I'd fly out.
Yeah, I should hope so.
depending on how many people we can get to agree to come to this, Alamo does a sort of live streaming deal where if you are physically in one theater, they can link up like a theater in Houston, Austin, and Dallas all together, so everybody can see you and then see the content as well.
Could we, like, if I showed up physically, could John come in live via satellite?
Yeah, almost definitely. I think they used Skype actually for something I saw there not too long ago.
Nice. Dude, you do it, and I'll show up.
All
I
right,
have a little bit of expendable income where I can like show up to places sometimes, and I can get vacation time.
Yeah.
This goes out to all the Texas fans right now. If you are a Texas fan, I'm going to post a thread on the subreddit. Get in there, comment, let me know if there's interest. That way I can start talking to the Alamo Draft House and we can get this set in motion.
Maybe contact HEB, and we could do maybe HEB could sponsor.
Sponsored by HEB. I would love to be sponsored.
Yeah, I can get in touch with them too, as long as there's some sort of interest.
I've never been to it.
with this.
I'd like to go. Maybe you could get me out there with an HEB sponsorship. I'll shop. I'll do a Jones card in
That's what
HEB.
it takes. Either 35,000 people or
All
I mean,
right.
as long as you're willing to plaster yourself with the logo, I think they'd be up to it.
Hey,
Oh,
maybe.
are you kidding me? I'll totally do that.
I already like their Mac. Probably I like some of their other products too.
We can rebrand them as Heb. All right.
Okay.
I was watching. Ooh, can I jump in?
Yeah.
Ryan Waltz, who gave us a really generous donation on the Kickstarter. I don't know him personally, but he's obviously a big fan. He asks, I was watching American Movie last night. Does anyone else agree that Mike and EJ sound suspiciously familiar? The reason I'm reacting to the question is because I'm a huge fan of American Movie. It's one of my favorite movies of all time. And there is a really monotone character, this guy named Mike, who talks like this, and please don't take my soda. But EJ does not really sound like that. EJ is monotone though.
Yeah, I can see the similarity, but
yeah,
it's interesting.
Yeah.
And thank you for all of the pop.
Uh,
Anything else on the live stream now?
Nothing at the moment.
For 97 minutes, Frankie.
yeah, are there any other questions?
97 minutes.
Oh,
Give it a minute to propagate out there.
gonna be 20 minutes.
I've got one in the meantime. What directors do y'all like, just film-wise?
See, I'm really bad with names in terms of directors, but Frankie,
I should be able to handle that.
You should be able to handle this.
Lloyd Kaufman, Peter Jackson, Robert Rodriguez.
I'm gonna throw Kevin Smith in.
Yeah,
I like a lot
of
Kevin
course.
Smith.
It's not cool though to like him anymore.
I know.
So if you like him, you gotta kind of like be a little shy about
I
it.
don't give a shit.
But he's good. I actually really did enjoy Tusk, which no one liked.
Yeah, I wasn't a huge fan. But anyway,
Who else? Sylvester Stallone, because I love Rocky so much, and actually Ryan Coogler did an excellent job with Creed.
I liked what's his face until they made Labor Day.
Oh yeah, Jason Reitman. I love Jason Reitman. It's like they all escape you as soon as you have to. Did I already say Peter
You
Jackson?
gotta love Stanley
Yeah.
Kubrick, even though it's just
Every single Kubrick thing is good, whether you like it or not. It's
Yeah.
good. It's excellent. Any other like really huge ones from this year that came out? I kind of like Todd Solondz.
Well, there's television. There's
Well, Vince Gilligan, of course. Anything
Sure.
he produces is excellent. We got to meet Nina and I got to meet Peter Gould last year. He's the co-creator of Better Call Saul because he was at the Austin Film Festival and he spoke to a group of us.
cool stuff.
All right, we had another question come up during that, and it was if there is one tip or ingredient that boosts up just regular basic Kraft mac and cheese, what is it?
Salt. No, I'm serious too. It's
Not butter.
No, I don't think the butter to margarine transition improves the taste as much as salt does. And again, I think we've actually found now the right ratio of salt so 6 cups of water, 1 teaspoon of salt. That's the right ratio. That's the ratio that I like anyway, and that's the way we've been cooking mac now. Definitely salt.
And there he goes.
Rolling away. No.
Okay, another one we had come up is what are your thoughts on Deadpool?
I loved it. I adored it.
Oh, I thought it was. I was very entertained by it. I thought it was not quite as smartly formed as, say, Guardians of the Galaxy, which is a super smart movie, really tight package. Deadpool was a lot of fun, and I really enjoyed it, but it wasn't quite as refined a movie experience as Guardians of the Galaxy was. But I think it's a really fun, sets a fun new precedent in superhero movies that they can be R-rated, but we'll have to see now because I fear that they might all become kind of, like just another R-rated super movie.
I think that up to this point, the reason that a lot of these superhero movies have been PG-13 is because they can straddle those demographics.
Yeah.
They can be four sector movies. They get
four
quadrant movies where they can get every demographic. And this kind of proved that the majority of your audience is actually not.
It's two
quadrant, and you might as well actually target them.
Yeah.
You're better off targeting them than you are trying to get all 4 quadrants. So that's like the marketing talk. But I thought the movie was just an absolute blast.
Fun.
I'm extremely impressed by Ryan Reynolds and what he did there. And I think that it actually, in terms of all of the cinematic universe, sub-franchise type crap, I think it actually opened it up to a lot of new possibilities where this didn't feel to me like a sequel to anything. It felt like a comic book issue.
Yeah, Frank and I have actually talked a lot about this. We have usually during Sundays, we talk a lot about movies and such, and this has been a big topic, and it's really interesting to see this. So I'm very excited for the future of this stuff.
I hope that it doesn't lead to... I mean, the reason that it did so well was because it didn't play it safe.
Yeah.
And now this might be now the new safe.
Yeah, that's right.
So,
if it becomes the new safe, I think we'll be in for another problem. But for now, it's new and fresh. So.
Okay, another question. This one is for Nina. How and when did you meet Frankie?
Oh, we didn't cover that? No, we didn't cover that.
No, we met freshman year of high school in a, video class?
Yeah, we were taking a class called the Freshman Experience. It was a way for it was a way for our dinky little high school to introduce you to all of the various.
It was a semester-long orientation to the school, basically.
Yeah. Like take a couple of days of a MIDI class.
Yeah, like a photography. You went like all these different classes.
And I was lucky enough to get paired up with one of the only people in the class who was interested in video and could do our entire project for us.
I made this video called Safety Goggles.
You actually met on Safety Goggles?
More or less.
I didn't know that.
We were also in the same gym class, and I know he spoke about me running half marathons earlier, but I was very unathletic and the Daria of my own time. And I just wanted to sit in a corner during gym class and do nothing, and we chatted during that time.
And when you're a 14-year-old geek, you try to spot whatever girl is in gym class, whatever cute girl's in gym class who's sitting in the corner. Because that's like the perfect, because what's the alternative?
The weak gazelle? I was the weak gazelle.
Because what's the alternative? You're not going to go play volleyball with one of the athletic girls. No, you go hang out with somebody who's being a little gothy and target that. And then you met Nina pretty soon after that.
True.
I was like, now you have to meet my friend John.
That's right.
Because you're
it
kind
was like meeting the parents. It was just more important than that.
I kind of roll John out to all my new friends.
Yeah.
I'm like, and now there's John.
Yeah, and now there's John. Here's John. I didn't know that story. We have a video copy existent of Safety Goggles, don't you?
As a matter of fact, if you're such a big fan of us for some reason that you want to watch things we did when we were children, all of it's going to be available on the new website when we launch it.
Yes.
And you'll actually be able to watch it by year, going all the way back to 1992.
Yep, before when I was just a 12-year-old.
And that will include the John Hunt Show.
Oh,
I have a copy.
You've jumped John Hunt Show episode 2. There was to give you some context. I had made 2 episodes of a fun show. It was just me talking with my friends. We did one episode when I was like 15 and one episode when I was 18 or 19. Frankie has the latter one, and that'll be on there. So look forward to that on the new website. If you want to see old content, you can check it out. I think it's fun stuff, but it's probably just as nostalgic for me.
Sure. But maybe they want to see what young John Hunt looks like.
Yeah, it looks pretty much the same, but with a little more hair and varying levels of fatness.
Yes.
Okay, so another question that we have received is, are you going to do a Civil War episode where you and John fight each other with Mac?
Civil War is a big meme right now.
Is it?
Yeah,
is that kind of what this joke is?
I think it might be a reference to that.
They're taking their cue from the meme.
From the meme, yeah, because what they'll do is they'll do have some people have a little disagreement, then put the tagline for
I wouldn't want to go there because everybody would be Team Junt, of course.
Yeah, Frankie would have no team.
No
team.
I'm the wrestling heel. I know that. I get that, and I play it.
No, I can envision a situation which we would even become at Civil War over Mac. I mean, unless it was blatantly scripted, which we kind of have done. We did a little bit in the Christmas thing.
There are, to try to answer it more seriously, there are bound to be more narrative, high production value episodes to come.
Yes, we really like doing those.
Definitely the Halloween ones. The Halloween ones, I'm going to go balls to the wall genre on.
Ooh, I like it.
Yes.
Okay, we got some more questions coming in from Reddit. And these are mostly have been covered, but we can just gloss over them quickly. First one was, what did you think about tuna inside of Mac?
Yeah, get it out of here.
Okay, next. Wouldn't it be good to have an official ranking of Macs somewhere, perhaps a wall of Macs?
Next.
We covered it.
Okay. Any plans for future films? If so, when would you do it? What is your writing process like? What has been the most rewarding film festival to you? And what has been the worst/best film festival experience?
Wow, that's a big question.
You got 2 hours? So, the most rewarding film festival experience was when Keith Sadek and Keith appeared on the Australian episode, when we actually flew out to Sydney, Australia to screen Sexually Frank. How terrible would it have been to have bought 2 individual $1,600 tickets to go across the world, and then nobody shows up to your screening? The screening, it was packed with people we didn't know, and that was a pretty incredible experience. And then we ended up winning the Director's Choice Award. And a pretty similar awesome experience was for having fun up there. We won the Massachusetts Independent Film Festival. For that, we won Best Writing and we won Best New England Film.
Yep.
And then also our first movie, I Need to Lose 10 Pounds, which by all standards shouldn't have won anything, because it's the effort of it has been described as the Lord of the Rings of high school movies.
Yes.
It was a 6-year effort. It was seriously insane. But that won Trauma Dance in 2006. But as far as the worst experiences, there have been some.
New York, we went up to that.
The Cineking one?
Yeah. No, not Cineking. Buffalo.
Right, that's clearly it. But we screened Having Fun up there at the Buffalo Niagara Independent Film Festival, and there was nobody. Not just there was nobody in the theater, there was nobody in the town.
It may have been a scam.
It may have been a scam.
It may have been a scam town.
Because they allowed submissions to be free, and the other films that we saw screening were so bad that it implied to me that like they just let everybody in. And it was a pretty awful experience, and a big waste of time. As for upcoming movies, like I said, we have 2 narratives in development. One is written by Jeff Torelli, who wrote Having Fun up there. Normally I write the movies, or I have written the movies in the past. It's always different per movie. I Need to Lose 10 Pounds was written with high school friends. Abo the Humonkey was written more like a television series.
Yeah,
it was a
kind of a committee.
It was Nina, her brother Keith, and his brother Jake. So we wrote the story as if we were writing a TV season, and then I went off and wrote the show.
Yeah.
Sexually Frank was 100% me. I just sat down and wrote the whole thing and then directed it. And then Having Fun up there was the first movie where I kind of, I guess, commissioned the writing. I met a screenwriter who had an idea that I really liked, and I said, okay, I'll direct that movie if you want to develop it into a feature. That was such a good experience that I'd like to work with him again. And then there's parallel to that, Emily Brinkmeyer, who hosted her own show on our network and works with us all the time. She's the mother of Gray, if you guys know, like the little kid that keeps popping up in these things. She and I are developing a narrative that would star her. And as far as the timeline, I suppose, BoxMac is really throwing a wrench in the whole thing, honestly.
Yeah. There was stuff that was supposed to happen that's been delayed because of BoxMac, but it's
that's the way it goes.
It's just BoxMac.
I hope that answers it, though.
Okay. We have another one from the chat here. This one is somebody that you guys might know. I don't know them, but it seems like a personal connection. It's Ryan Waltz. He asks, wasn't that the trip where Frankie ate a brick of cheese he pulled from his pocket in a vegan restaurant?
Yes, I don't know him personally, but he knows that from watching the video blog. We Nina was like, I'd like to try to find a vegan place. We all went to a vegan place. It was super Indian and crunchy. It took forever for the food to come out. Yep. I got really tired with the whole thing. Walked down the street to a cheese shop.
Everyone else was super into it, super responsive.
I love it.
Was willing to order off the menu, find something they liked, except for you. You have to go looking for cheese.
So I bought a big block of Gruyere cheese.
This was so gross.
And I walked back and I ate it like an apple.
This, but it is not advisable.
And
not with Gruyere, though.
And it was grossing everybody out, and I loved it.
That was what first put the marriage on the rocks.
Somebody asks, do you like Captain America? It's fine. Yeah, sure, whatever.
It's okay. It's okay. I like it. Any other questions on the internet?
I want to, before we go, I want to say one thing, which is we've talked a lot about EJ. The three of us are obviously the core team.
Sure.
But we haven't really mentioned Zach Carlisle at all.
Yeah.
And Zach pretty faithfully comes to every single shoot.
Yep.
He's appeared in a couple of episodes. He monitors audio for us. He often shoots the episodes for us.
That's right.
He's a huge contributor and does everything he can to help us. And
Yeah.
I just want to thank him for that because he really doesn't have to. And it's a super huge
Thank
help.
you, Zach.
If he could just learn how to edit.
There's a fantastic Zach episode.
Yes, there is. Stay tuned.
Pirates booty.
Pirates booty.
It's on the way.
Teasing all kinds of apps.
Anything else before we go?
Best Canadian Mac.
Well, you saw us eat all of them, folks.
Yeah, refer to show content because I have no memory and I can't remember. I know one was really good.
It was probably the Velveeta one because, in our opinion, it beat out the American.
Yes.
And you both like the American Velveeta. Yeah.
That's right.
You guys both, you don't like the USA original, so the fact that
It sure as hell wasn't the tomato one.
That's right. Yeah. All right, so we're on low battery here.
Is that and EJ
and
just showed
EJ
up.
Massa has just arrived with a bottle of wine.
You should at least say hello.
Oh look, it's just me and me
it's
now.
just the
Okay.
John
You know what's funny is I've been
Watching.
not watching, listening on the way.
EJ Massa.
Oh, hey.
EJ Massa can answer your questions because he
Hey.
has just arrived. Oh, Frankie's
Oh,
left.
wait.
The stream is on delay. So
Oh yeah,
it's on delay in case we need to cut the feed.
I brought some vegan Rice Krispie treats. I'll put those over there.
Well, we should probably wrap up here because we've been on the air for an hour and 52.
But they don't leave. Look,
Look,
the whole 46 watching.
that's amazing, but we can do it again.
All right. We'll Michael, shall we do this again sometime?
Just switch out.
I would love to do it again in the future.
Cool. And
Thank you very much to our moderator for being so kind as to do all this process. I really appreciate it.
Oh, Michael's awesome. We have a bunch of fans who do services for us like this, and it means the world to us.
Yes, it's wonderful. Thank you so much. And
Well,
thank you,
for
everybody, for tuning in.
It's been a great pleasure to do this with you guys, and hopefully we will do this again in the future. And this concludes our BoxMac presentation.
And watch EJ reviews and watch watch Review Lounge.
200 of you, watch it.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.